I think it's fair to say that after so many years racing and training on one of these, when someone gets in touch with me and says what rowing machine should they get, I often suggest a Concept 2, and there's very good reason for that. It's a very good, strong, robust machine. There's nothing wrong with it at all. But what I've come to realize is that I'm kind of doing a disservice to people that aren't really into the idea of racing. What they really want is that motivation and a little bit of a reason to get back on the machine every day, which is kind of why I made my RowAlong workouts in the first place, was to try and provide that to people so they don't have to pay for the big expensive machines and whatever. But I am doing a disservice to the people that want to buy the big expensive machines. What are they like? So when I was given the opportunity to try this, the Aviron Strong Series rower, I jumped at the chance. Specifically because I've been so outspoken over the past couple of years about really not liking the design of connected rowing machines. And really what it comes down to is having this big monitor right in front of me, that as I'm coming forwards into the catch, I'm really worried I'm just going to put the handle through. And so that's going to choke up my technique and stuff, okay? So I've got this for a while and I'm going to make a whole series of videos about it because it is a nice machine. Specifically, I'm really going to be talking about the options that are here in the monitor just to try and keep you entertained and stuff. But the most important thing when it comes to a rowing machine is how it feels to row on. It doesn't matter what's here. If it feels rubbish to row on, then there's no point getting it, okay? So what I'm going to do as a testing protocol is this. I've done 1,000 meters at 20 strokes a minute and at 2 minutes per 500 meters pace on my Concept 2. I'm going to do exactly the same on this, on the Aviron, and then I'm going to compare what it's like. Not only just talking about it, but I'm also going to have a split screen showing me on the Concept 2, me on this, and an overlay just so you can see my body positions. Because it must be said, the first thing you may have noticed is that I'm really high up, okay? This raised seat is different when it comes to how high off the rail I am to a Concept 2. But the foot plates are also higher, so what I'm hoping is that you'll see that the angles of my backside to my feet will be similar on both machines. All right, so let's get into it.
So where I want to start is here, basically by comparing both machines. Now what I'm really looking at here is technique, whether I'm doing anything differently on the Aviron compared to the Concept 2. Not that I'm saying the Concept 2 is the ultimate machine, but it makes sense that the machine that I've been rowing on for years is kind of the default for how I row. So when it comes to technique, the most important thing I want to look at, I'm going to pause it here, is that at the catch that I'm in that kind of forward tilt over my hips, that my shins are in a vertical position and that my arms are straight. Now, if I compare, I'm slightly out of sync here, but if I compare the Concept 2, you can see that I am shins vertical, arms straight, tilt over the hips. And on the Aviron, well, I'm kind of close, but there's definitely, if you kind of glance between the two, you'll see that I am vertical with the shins on the Concept 2, but I'm slightly off. I'm not quite getting in to the full compression on the Aviron, but we'll kind of continue through the strokes. So I'm going to slow-mo here. So if I drive, if you look at the Concept 2 first, you'll see that I drive with the legs, then I swing with the back, then I pull with the arms. So now look onto the other side and see what happens on the Aviron. You'll see I drive. There's maybe a little bit of a grab with the arms at the front, which I'll explain in a second. But then the sequencing still goes through exactly the same. So apart from this compression thing at the front and the kind of grab that's happening as I drive, you can see right there on the Aviron. In fact, let's go into full screen. Okay, so here we are on full screen then on the Aviron, and we can take a little bit of a closer look at what's going on and what I think is going on. So the two things that I'd say that are separating me from the Concept 2 are just that compression into the front and a little bit of a jerk with the arms. Now the first one of them, I do wonder whether it's just me being a little bit worried about basically coming too far in, whether it's the monitor right in front of me, I don't know. This is something I'm going to have to look at over the next few months because I think this is just about me on the machine rather than the machine itself. But the jerk of the arms, so we'll go into slow-mo here, and if you watch at the drive, then hopefully you can see it. I certainly felt it when I was rowing. And I think this is, yeah, you can see it on here. So because I'm under compressing, I'm moving back before, there's my arms connecting here. So you can see that's the point where my arms are connecting, and then you can see the amount of slide that I've gone down. Now, this again has nothing at all to do with the machine itself. What it has to do with is me under compressing into the front and the heels coming up a little bit too high, so I'm not connecting properly until here. And interestingly, on the Aviron, what happens is if you miss the catch at the front, when you finally do connect it, especially on the position that I'm in here, that point when you connect to the resistance of the machine is a lot heavier than on Concept 2 or on a water rower if you get it wrong. So it'll go back into kind of full speed, because I eventually I work this out and I kind of get the timing right and go, all right, hang on, I have to make sure and really kind of push and accelerate through, there you go, I think that's it there, right through that catch into the drive. So what this is doing is it's actually revealing that I'm missing the catch slightly, and although I can kind of get round it on a water rower and a Concept 2, on the Aviron you actually it really does kind of say to you, oh, you've got to do this better, which for me is perfect. I love this, okay? The fact that there's something that kind of makes me go, oh, hang on, I'm getting the timing wrong here. That's what we all want. That's why we put on the force curves and stuff. So the last thing to look at then is this, okay? So this is an overlay of the Aviron on top of the Concept 2, and what I've done is I've resized them so that I am the same size on both machines and the foot plates are exactly the same height, okay? So and this is basically to try and get round people that say the seat on the Aviron is so high up. It's not really, because the foot plates are also high up. Yes, you've got this raised part of the rail, but it's not like the angle. Basically what I'm saying is that the angle between the seat and the foot plates is the same on a Concept 2 as it is on the Aviron. So although it looks different, don't worry about it, it's not, okay? And so then when I hit play on this, this is when you'll really see what I'm on about with the compression and the reach. So let's get into the front of this one. Okay, here we go. So right, you can see how much further forwards my hands are getting on the Concept 2 in the background, and also you can really see what's going on with my knees and my shins. So that's the Aviron, and then that's the Concept 2. The Concept 2 is almost over compressing a little bit, but certainly I'm still slightly under compressing, and therefore I'm losing reach in that compression, and it's causing the problems that kind of then go through the rest of the stroke for me. So this isn't a review of the machine for that point of view, it's definitely a review of my technique when using it. Why am I under compressing? And of course, like I say, it could well be that I'm a little bit scared of the monitor being in front of me. I'm not used to having a 22-inch touchscreen monitor right in front of my body as I'm coming into the front of the machine. But like I say, this is a me issue, because you can see the distance between the monitor and my hands. There's more than enough clearance there. This is about my brain, or what little brain I have, rather than it being about a fault of the machine.
So, having done my 1,000-meter test on this, the Aviron Strong Series rower, how do I feel about it? To be honest, it's really nice to row on, okay? Yes, there's a little bit of that hiccup at the front if you miss the catch, but to be honest, that's a good thing, because if you suddenly get that jolt, you're like, I didn't do that, right? It's a good indicator. Much like on a water rower, where if you don't connect the back and arms properly at the back of the stroke, you will suddenly feel like you lose connection. Then it's all a good reminder for your technique. And really what I'd kind of say is it's like supercars, okay? So a Concept 2 is like a Ferrari, a water rower is like a Lamborghini, and this is like a Porsche. All three of them are top-end models. They just do their job slightly differently. They feel slightly differently different when you're using them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend some time with this machine. I'm going to make some videos talking about what you have as the options, all the training things that you can do on it, and then hopefully that will help you make a decision when it comes to what kind of rowing machine you would like to use, because of course it isn't a cookie cutter world, okay? Those that are training to row in the World Indoor Rowing Championships, sure, you're probably going to want the Concept 2 because that's what you're going to be racing on, but if you don't care about racing and if you just want to have an entertaining row at home and you're not using my RowAlong workout videos, why wouldn't you? Then maybe this is something you want to look at. But like I said, I'm going to unpack that over the next series of videos. So please do keep a lookout for them. Until then, make sure and check out some of my other videos. I will see you in one of them, or my next one, or an old one, who knows, okay? Row well, be well, bye-bye.